Hello everybody, how are you all today? I hope you're feeling absolutely splendid. Oh, I've got a grin the size of Scotland on my face because we finally have sunshine and warmth. You know, it's amazing. It was a week and a day ago that I was down here sowing my winter veg. You will have seen a couple of videos back. It got so cold I came into this shed for a bit of shelter. Even in the shed I could see my breath. So we've literally gone overnight from winter to the height of summer. It's about 22 degrees out there. It's gorgeous. And you know, it's not just the warmth, but it's the brightness after all these grey, dismal, drizzly days we've had. Anyway, it's proper put a spring in my step. But this is where it gets really difficult because I'm working from home. I keep looking out of the window and seeing how gorgeous it is and thinking I want to be in the garden. So I'm being really super disciplined this week. I'm doing 6 or 7 hours of sewing in the morning. I start at about 7 and then by about 2 or 3 in the afternoon the plan is to get down to the garden and have a couple of hours of work down here, and then an hour of just sitting and being. Now that the insects are buzzing and the butterflies are out, it's just beautiful. Do the work, but make some time for just sitting and being. The other thing, obviously, this sun is really rather sudden, so please make sure you put your sunscreen on. Put your sun hat on if you need it. Don't forget the back of your neck with your sunscreen. Keep your... Where's my water? Yeah. Keep plenty of water to hand. Keep topping yourself up. Excuse me. And also, you know, don't go at it hard in the middle of the day. You'll give yourself heat exhaustion. But otherwise, just give me a second. I'm back. Sorry about that. Whenever I turn up, someone always wants to come and see me and have a chat, which is lovely. But now I need to crack on. So yeah, I'm already really warm. It's the late afternoon and I'm scotchio. But hopefully over the course of the whole of this week, if I do this kind of little afternoon session, having worked all day at home, I can get all the beds prepped for direct sewing from the beginning of next week. Yay! I was down here all day Saturday, all day making a structure, which I'm going to go and show you now. I didn't film on the day because when I thought it would take me 2 or 3 hours, I didn't think it would take me 8 hours, best part of. Anyway, so, come on, let's get in the garden. Phew-wee! Just taking a second to adjust to this brightness. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's actually really pretty hot considering it's so late in the afternoon. I'm not complaining, it's gorgeous. So anyway, let me show you a couple of things. Coincidentally, serendipitously, I bumped into our Graham the other day. It was last Saturday after I'd worked on the plot all day and I was really pooped. And we ended up going for a pint at our local and sat in the beer garden. And it was so lovely because it's the first time this year. Oh my goodness, that sun behind me. Hold on a sec. Yeah, it was the first time this year to have a pint and sit in the beer garden. And it felt just so great. What a perfect way to relax after down the plot. And he was saying, please, can I come to the garden? Please, can I come and play? And I was like, of course you can. But he's not allowed to touch any of the plants because he's not green-fingered. He's not allowed to touch the soil. So I was thinking, what can he do in the garden? And then I suddenly thought, oh, I know, because, let me show you this. The other day, I managed to get hold of, hopefully you're going to be able to see it, a piece of perspex. See that? Got a piece of perspex there to mend my cold frame, but it's a bit big, so I mentioned it to Graham and he reckons he's got a nice fine blade for the jigsaw that will cut that, which would be great. Oops, and it will seal up the cold frame again. Look at this rosemary, isn't it beautiful, all these flowers. The bees have been loving it. There's one in there right now. Absolutely gorgeous. And actually, just speaking of the cold frame, Oh, another little mini disaster. All my sweet peas have been had by the slugs and snails. Oh, what a shame. Oh, I need to get watering things as well, all the brassica seeds. Gosh, I hope they've not been nibbled. The first thing I did when I got down here today is I filled up my watering can, popped it in the cold frame just to let it warm up a bit, because it's freezing cold water, that. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it, I don't think. Far tray, right in the far tray. Things are coming up. I can't remember what's in that tray, I'll have a look later. But there's a couple more things I'd like to show you. Hang on a sec, let's go this way. Oh, ow. Wow. The other thing I love about the sunshine and the brightness is how it just seems to cheer everybody up. Just walking down here this afternoon, everyone's smiling and just enjoying going about their daily business. Now, I did promise to give an update to look in there, but no signs of any of the volunteers yet. Never mind. They'll start, obviously that soil's going to start warming up really well now that the sun's out, and with the cloches as well, so hopefully we might get some volunteers, especially after my compost disaster. Now this is something else I wanted to show you. What's going on here? Be right into the sun now. I've got my bean arches up. Hang on, let's come the other way because this is really going to be too bright. Hold on a second. That's better. So, I am a bit concerned that they seem really flimsy. I just hope they work. But all those, do you remember all those branches I rescued back in October and put into the frame to bend them? That bending seemed to work really well. Look at that sky, isn't it gorgeous? So it's basically a hodgepodge mishmash collection of willow sticks, bamboo sticks, branches from the burn pile. On the other row, there's another row here. I've actually got, you can see on the top here, and I love the little gnarly bits. This is some of that grapevine that I pulled out of the tree. So I'm hoping these are going to work because they've basically freed up the whole of this bed for something else. I'm thinking I might have to give them some sort of buttress, so maybe a stake going down and out into that bed. But for now, I'm chuffed with that. Gosh, it took me ages, and single-handed, I was having to tie knots with my teeth. It was ridiculous. But it's up, it's ready. It does have a bit of movement. Hopefully that means it's got a bit of flexibility. If there's strong winds, it can move with the wind rather than snap, like those brand new beam poles did last year. But there we go. Right, time to get on with some work. Something else I really want to get done today is to just get all these little lavenders into slightly bigger pots, because where they're going to go isn't ready for them yet. I might not be ready for a few weeks yet, so I just want to give them a slightly bigger pot so they can spread their little roots a bit if they like. Also, to stop them drying out so quickly, because even though they don't want to be sopping wet, they don't want to be cooking in the cold frame. So I'm basically using what I've got to hand. Do you know, it still feels weird to have bought a plant from the shop. What a naughty treat. So I've just got a bit of ordinary compost, and there's a little bit of some dryish compost, garden compost in there too. Plus I've got a load of this grit which is going to go into that bed. So, oh, I don't know how much. About a third grit, 2/3 compost. Maybe I'll do a bit more. Yeah, let's get more grit in there. Should do it. Oh, fun in the sun. Right. So it's just it's just going to help sort of keep the mix loose and well draining. Now, these massively need a watering, but I'll do that once they're in their pots. Look how dry it is, look how pot bound it is. Poor little things. A tiny bit of a tease. Yeah, this was a good job to do today. It just goes to show, doesn't it, how quickly that weather changed, and the cold frame, instead of being somewhere to harden off, has suddenly become a cooker. Oh, be happy, little plant. I'm sure it'll be much happier in there. Oh, it's had a bit of a knock. If that one's not going to perk up, I'll take it off and try and do a cutting from it. But yeah, they're going to be much happier in these bigger pots, and it just means, well, it just takes the pressure off getting that bed ready. Because like I say, you know, the herbs are going to be really important to me this year. But the priority has to be the veggies. So even if I can't get to that bed for a month, these guys are going to be so much happier in these bigger pots and shouldn't dry out to a crisp. So I'll get the rest of these done, give them a really, really good soaking, and whether to leave them in the cold frame or leave them out, I might leave them out. We have got some predicted nighttime temperatures of 7, 8, 9 degrees, which is still way too chilly for things like tomatoes, peppers, squash, all those things. But I think these little plants are robust enough to stand it. So yeah, I think I'll just leave them out now so there's no more cooking in the cold frame. I think they already look happier for getting into bigger pots. Oh, happy lavender. So I'm just letting them sit there for a minute, have a jolly good soak because they were absolutely bone dry. And then I'll find somewhere on the deck to put them for now, whilst they wait for their permanent home to be made. Happy days! I was just about to start strimming, and look what I noticed. Oh, I'm so happy. It's my tree lily beginning again. You see, just a few days of warmth and sunshine. It's got this gorgeous wee thing going again. Lovely. Well, I have to say, this has all been really rather delicious. Oh, so beautiful. Thing is, it's a bit of a shock to the system. So what I was saying earlier about, you know, don't go hammer and tong in this new heat. I've decided to skip one of the jobs I was going to do today because it's quite hard work, and actually now just spend some time strimming and trimming and pottering and just generally sitting back. I mean, why wouldn't you want to just sit here? Just sit and enjoy. Oh, sorry, wobble wobble. So I've just been starting to prepare this whole bed here, where the sun has baked it. It's turned it to concrete, but it's loose enough now for me to get my chickpeas in and my rock and core and bits and pieces. My other job for today was going to be all this wood needs sawing because some of it's really, 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 really long. Sawing into lengths to make my teepees. But as I say, I think I'm going to leave that for another day because it really is quite warm. Oh, I love the shadow of my bunting flapping. Hopefully that'll keep the pigeons away from the last of my kale, which is sprouting. I'm having so many sprouts I can't keep up. The ones that are now blowing to flowers I'll leave for a few days because actually it's really good food for the bees. And talking of the bees, I've moved their little, that little drinking bowl over here where it's in shade most of the afternoon, so hopefully it won't evaporate quite so quickly as it does in the full sun. The reason the little bits of pebbles and stuff are in there is just so they've got somewhere to land and lean over and have a little drink. And talking of having a little drink, my lovely neighbour next door, Judy, brought me this a minute ago as a thank you for some veggies I gave her. It's really, really cold. So I think because I have a lovely cold beer and because it's been a really, really hot afternoon, much hotter than I was expecting. God, so much brightness. It's about 7 o'clock, look how bright it is still. I think I'm going to say cheerio to you all for now. I'm going to go and trim and have a bit of a trim of my edges. Then I'm just going to sit here with my beer, listen to the birds, watch the insects, and remember why I have a garden. I'll see you all again really soon, I hope. But in the meantime, enjoy your garden time if you can. Take care, everyone.